We're back for a second video today, and in today's second video we are going to be giving you a manufacturer's guide for Interlagos for round number 4. Now if you do appreciate these videos, if they help you out, it is a massive help if you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. It helps me out massively, so I'm very grateful for that. So let's have a little look at the round 4. It's 13 laps, racing hard tyres, times 1 tyre wear, times 1 fuel. No pit stops required. This is a sprint race, so you do not need to worry about strategy. It's the same for GT2 and 3 also. It's a flat out race, so you really aren't concerned with any pit stops. It's just qualify as high up as you can and go as fast as you can. So yeah, as I've said there, GT1 and 3, you're running the exact same race. So let's get on with the track guide to help you out in terms of pace. So going into turn 1, we are looking for the 50 board. We're going to brake just short of that 50 board, ensuring that we can slow the car down before the corner. Now you can brake a little bit later than normal because the wind is in our face here, and you're going to start rotating the car into this corner. Now you don't want to turn in too early. You want to try and rotate the car in so that you can concentrate on your exit speed over the second part of the chicane. So as you're coming through here, you're going to take advantage of the track limits. Obviously at Interlagos you can really get away with some dodgy track limits. So as you're coming through this corner, I'm going to go up to 3rd gear just before I enter the curb, and you can see your right hand tyre can go all the way on the Astro, and as long as you keep your left hand tyre on the curb on the left hand side, you should avoid the penalty there. So just be aware of that. If you go too far over, you will pick up a penalty. Now on the exit of this corner, you have to be careful on the exit also, because running wide is a possibility of getting a penalty on the exit there, so just be cautious you don't run too far wide. Now into the next braking zone, we are looking for the 100 board on the right hand side, and you can see we're pretty much dead on the brakes right next to that 100 board. Now braking in a straight line, we're going to rotate the car in once we're past the 50 board on the right hand side, and you want to get your left hand tire close to the curb and almost, well, pretty much up the curb, and then accelerate out in 2nd gear with the Porsche. Other cars are going to be different, but then on the exit use a little bit of the curb as we upshift into 3rd gear, and now we're going to work our way up the hill into the next braking zone. Now we're looking for the 50 board. We're going to brake before that 50 board, pretty much right in the middle of the 100 and the 50 board, and the aim here is your right hand tyre to clip the curb on the first part of this apex. So right hand tyre onto the curb, you can see the ghost I'm chasing there, all the way up onto the curb. Now do not run too deep into this corner. It's better to hold a narrow line and then get your second apex here on the curb again. So as you're coming through this next part, up onto the curb again with that right hand tyre, and then that will give you the ability to put the power back down as you then run a little bit wide here. You want to just pretty much, as soon as your full width is on that curb, you're onto the brakes. And now be careful you don't run too wide there, you can pick up a penalty, so just be aware of that. And then rotating it in, right hand tyre pretty much on the limit there, you can see right up onto the edge of the curb. Now you can actually get away with a bit more than that, I think, before you actually get a penalty, but you don't really want to get on the grass because of dirty tyres. Now into the next braking, you can see there we're braking just before the start of the curb on the left hand side, just a dab of brake. It's not too much, it's just for rotation this, and then we're going to go back up to 2nd gear for the acceleration out of the corner. Now be cautious you don't run too far wide on the exit. It's very easy to do that and lose control of the rear. And then we're looking at the next braking zone, which we're using the Astro or the curb, whatever you prefer. I prefer the Astro on the left hand side for my reference. And then again, you can see here we're going to start rotating this car in from a wide angle. Now this corner is tricky with the Porsche. You can use either 1st or 2nd gear for the exit. I went for a 2nd gear exit this time. 1st gear does work as well. It's just a case of how well you do the corner, and also whether you want to risk 1st gear for a bit more initial acceleration. Now you can see I lift off the throttle for this long left hand corner because that's going to just create a bit more rotation in the middle of the corner, because this car will understeer on the throttle as you're powering through that corner. So now into the final corner, braking a long way short of the 50 board. It is really important you get the exit sorted for this corner. That is more important than anything as you're coming through here. And you can see there, you want to get the left hand tyre just to get up onto the curb. You're not going to take too much, just about halfway through the corner up onto the curb, and then power your way out the exit. You will need to use a bit of the curb on the outside, so be cautious as you get on that power and use that curb. It can easily unsettle the car as you go over there. Now we're going to go over the line for a 1:31.5, I think it is. Nothing too extreme, but it's a pretty solid lap that should help you out. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to run through some overtaking and some defending advice at this track also. So the first major overtaking or defending zone is going into turn 1, obviously. Now if you're going for a move, you really want to go for that inside line, but if you are defending, you want to hold a narrow line there, because you make it almost impossible because of the nature of the next corner for them to really get a move done. So as long as you hold a nice tight line there, and then that give yourself a line on the exit there that you can carry speed through this corner, you should be okay. It's not actually an easy track to overtake on Interlagos, even with custom slipstream. If the car in front defends well, you will lose a lot of time, but you can manage to defend if you do it properly. Now into the next corner. Again, defending here is all about holding the inside line. Now, what you might see on the purple line is someone wants to force you to go on that defensive line so that they can then get the switch back on you, because they'll go a wider line. And then as you've gone from a narrow angle, what will happen is you'll be from a wider angle where the red line is. They'll come back at a faster, narrow angle, and they'll get the position before the next corner. So be cautious of that one. You do have to be aware of it. It can work and it can happen. And then now into the next braking zone. Now, this is a tricky one for overtaking because the car has to be really close. Now, if they're not close, you do not defend this corner. Only defend this corner if you need to, because defending this corner with a tight angle for a high-speed corner can push your car wide. Now, that's what they'll want you to do, because you'll then run wide where the red line is. They'll then cut back and take the inside line for the next braking zone, which will give them the overtaking opportunity, because as you come through, you'll see it's wide open here. So if you force the car wide, you then have that massive amount of wide open space there to send it where the arrow is, and then you've got the priority into that corner, because trying to go around the outside of this next corner is pretty much impossible. You won't have the grip, you won't have the traction, and then once they've got that line, they've got the overtake done. So now we're going to work our way into another opportunity where you can go for overtakes. Now, this one can be frustrating because cars will lunge it, and you have to be aware of that. But I wouldn't defend this unless you need to. If a car is right up behind you, be very, very cautious, because it's an easy move to go. Lunge it down the inside, brake late, hold the apex, and yeah, it's not really much you can do in terms of fighting back, because the next corner is this tight left-hand corner. Now, defending it is pretty easy. You just take the tight line. And then again, the final corner. This is a tricky one again. It's not very often someone's going to get a move work here, because it doesn't work in both of your favors, because it compromises your exit. But yeah, if you do need to defend, just try and make sure you get that exit. So if you're on the red line, try and concentrate on your exit speed, because if they just follow the normal line and you've gone defensive, they're going to get a massive run down this straight. So just be very aware of that corner. In general, you're not going to be defending too much into that final corner. Most people don't really like going for a move there, because it's very tricky to make a move. Very often it ends up in an incident where a car gets pushed off. So that's a corner where I find very difficult to go for an overtake. But turn one is your big threat. Remember, defend that inside if you have to. Be aware of the switch, the fake going into that corner as well. A lot of cars will go for a fake overtake, which I will probably do if I have the opportunity, because then you open up the inside. But anyway, hopefully that information helps you out. Feel free to subscribe to my channel, hit the like button on your way out. I'm very grateful to everyone who does that, and we'll be back with more of these guides in the future. Thanks again for watching, everyone.